what I think has happened is that when Amen Thompson is on the court, everything goes into overdrive with the Rockets in terms of the pace of play. When Amen Thompson is on the court right now, over the course of their last, I think, 11 games, they have like a 126.8 offensive rating. And like they're like a plus 20 or something like that in that time. And to me, a big piece of that is just the pace. Like they are going and getting teams and beating them down the court. And part of it is quality of competition. They played the Jazz, who have the worst defense in the league. They played the Wizards, who have one of the worst defenses in the league. They played the Spurs twice, who have one of the worst defenses in the league. And they've caught all of those teams, a couple of times during this run. But I don't really know that I care as much, because the process of this looks so good. And I do think that having Amen on the court is a very key piece of that. People are talking about Amen like, oh my God, like this is the guy we expected pre-draft. He's been unbelievable. No, this is not the guy we expected pre-draft. He's playing an entirely different role. He is not playing a second of point guard. He's basically playing center for this team. Anybody that's like taking victory laps about Amen Thompson, like in the way that the Rockets nailed this draft pick. Yeah, I think they probably hit the draft pick, but it's like totally different than what anybody evaluated at the time. So what have been your thoughts on Amen and the pace of play? Because to me, that's the piece of it that is so exciting and so interesting about the Rockets right now.
I thought you were going to agree with that. I'm like, man, this is going to be one time Sam and I are going to be way off because this was not who I thought Amen Thompson was going to be. So, I mean, we ended up in the same spot. Yeah, a part of the reason, I mean, I had Amen 4. I know part of the reason I was lower on Asar is I didn't know if these guys could play these roles. So one thing with Amen, we talk all the time, people like to throw out grab and go ability, right? Especially when we're scouting prospects. This big man has grab and go ability. And I'm like, no, he can grab a rebound, dribbled across half court, and then pass to the point guard. Amen has real grab and go ability where he can rake down the rebound and go get rebounds that other people simply can't because he's so explosive. And then he attacks. But what was special about what I saw in these recent games, he would go one time, Euro step finish. He did it the next time, saw that he didn't have the numbers, and he pulled it out and did not force anything. So he's a rookie that learns, when do I attack? When do I not? Because when you go, then sometimes you end up with bad process because you just go every time. And that shouldn't be the case. Also, I think Amen just plays the game very quickly. Like he processes very quickly. And this was part of the scout, but he catches the ball and he makes a decision. Catches the ball, jab step, go. Catch the ball, reverse it, whatever it is. And I think that helps with their pace and flow of their offense as well, is they have a guy like him who the decisions just happen very, very fast, along with physically whatever he does happens very fast because he's so twitchy.
So let's just dive into the Amen piece of it first, because I wanted to talk about the pace of play. And I think that Amen with the pace of play piece of it is playing just like a huge role of it. And then we're going to move to Jalen Green, because I think Jalen is like a huge, huge piece of this. And we're going to dive all the way into everything that's happening there. But when you watch what Amen is doing here, like what you're going to see is like, he's just going to grab this rebound and he is going to go. I'm so glad that you brought up that grab and go ability from the first moment here, right? We're literally getting that from, first clip that we're watching is he's just going to grab this rebound and he's going to push. He's going to go up tempo as soon as he catches. And like, look, Alperen Sengun is a very valuable player. He's a better half-court player than Amen Thompson is. Sengun can't do this as quickly as he can against one of the most athletic teams in the league, and that's okay. He has different skills, but I think that this is a big help for what Houston is doing offensively right now.
And that was against a really good defender in Lou Dort, Sam, by the way. Like totally. That's a good defender. He made that move in transition on.
100%. And then this one here, it's just absolutely nasty. But like what I want you to point out here more than anything is Amen is the last player right now. Like he is the furthest player back on the court in this play. And then he is going to sprint all the way down the court the other way. And he's going to beat two of his Houston teammates down the court and find an easy trailer layup. Like that stuff, that is like where, so like the guy that I kind of like to compare him to a little bit pre-draft was like Russell Westbrook in terms of just like the tempo, the motor, the energy, everything like that. That's the kind of like Westbrooky stuff where it's just like, oh, the motor is going to go, the athleticism is going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, when you just beat guys down the floor, then you're able to attack the lane. Lots of times we think, like you talked about how he's essentially playing the 5. So you think about like a trail big to catch and shoot the 3, but where he can outrun people like that, like you said, there's at least 3 total players on the floor behind him. The floor is going to be spaced naturally just because there's not all the bodies in the half court. And so again, if you notice there, he caught the ball, already knew what he wanted to do with it, made 1 Euro step and finished. There's no wasted actions or movements or delays with what he does. And that's why the flow stays good offensively when he's on the floor.
Yeah, and to be clear, like this is the reason that the Rockets won the game last night. Like Amen Thompson and Jalen Green, they're the 2 guys here. But if they don't have Amen last night, they do not win this game. Amen goes for 25 points, 15 rebounds, including 6 offensive rebounds, 4 assists. Like he was unbelievable in this game. He was absolutely incredible for the Houston Rockets. And then this one here, why did I grab this one? This one might not be one. No, I grabbed this because it just kind of shows Jalen like processing and thinking through some things. This is a ridiculous shot from Amen Thompson, right? Like Amen's going to catch this ball. This is just like a high ball screen. They kind of throw a trap out. Jalen's going to split the trap. We're going to talk a lot about Jalen splitting pick and rolls here.
Yeah, he likes to do that.
But he's going to throw this slightly off target. Amen's going to catch it. And he's just going to size up Jalen Williams here, who is a big, right? Like he is being guarded by centers. This is a huge mismatch problem that opposing teams are running into when they deal with Amen Thompson. Who do we have guard him? Do we just have our big like stay in and help around the basket in half court situations? We can do that, but he's also an awesome cutter. And then on top of it, he's also going to be able to get the corner here and look at the separation that he's able to create against Jalen Williams here. That's a big amount of space that he's able to get. And while this shot is funky and goofy and, you know, he throws it up off of 1 foot, the ball goes and he has good touch around the basket. Like that's what makes this hard. He's a really difficult guy for centers to guard.
Well, and that's one area of the floor where I could see him being effective early in his career. He had another shot in this game that was a little bit more like textbook pull-up jumper. So he's at 44% between 3 and 10 feet. So not spectacular, doesn't jump off the page, but because of his elevation and his touch, he gets to 6-8 feet and he can just rise up and jump over everybody else and then shoot a jump shot from there. Again, he had a really good looking one. I don't know if it's a 3rd or 4th quarter where he does it and it's not kind of a little bit more of a circus shot. And I know those ones look wonky, Sam, but I think sometimes dudes that are just great athletes with great touch and feel, they tend to make those more than people who don't.
Yep. So next one here. It's a miss from Josh Giddey.
That's a great rebound.
Elevates up over everybody. Like there is Chet there. Chet's 7'1" with like a 7'6" wingspan. It's fine. Jabari Smith, 6'10" with a 7'1" wingspan. Look at how high Amen Thompson is off the ground here. This is ridiculous vertical leap. And then he's just going to turn and throw this outlet immediately. Who's going to get it to Jalen Green and pull up transition threes have been a huge part of Jalen Green's success here recently. He has just been absolutely electric in terms of starting the fast break.
So can you go back to the very beginning of the clip? And I just want to highlight where Amen. Listen, this isn't some crazy effort, but I cannot tell you how many guys, Sam. So right now, Amen is on the left elbow. If you're looking at it from half court, the shot comes from the left wing. Most guys would just drift the half court in this situation. Like Amen would leak out or just stand there. Not only does he not do that, he tracks the ball to the backside, which is where most misses are going to be, goes across to the lane and gets the rebound on the right block. So he went from the left elbow, if you're looking from half court, to the right block, and then elevates above everybody else. So it's not just the natural athleticism, it's also his ability or willingness to give some extra efforts.
Yeah, I mean, I just love everything about this effort. It's fantastic. And then he starts it immediately. The processing to know that Jalen is going to be the one that leaks out and to find him and just go. Super smart. And then this one here again, he's just going to size up Gordon Hayward in space and then start just a fantastic little pick and roll here on the empty side, right? He's getting out. This is early offense more than it's transition offense, right?
Yep.
But because he's so fast, he's able to kind of isolate Gordon Hayward here on the empty side of the court. And that's going to allow him and the Rockets, by the way, just to get into this fun little action here where Fred's going to go set a screen for Dylan Brooks, who's going to come across here and make this play in the dribble handoff. And then just look at the timing here as well. So he gets bumped and he just beats Chet to the spot.
Yep.
Like these are things that, again, like Alperen Şengün can do a lot of things exceptionally well. I don't think Alperen Şengün is going to quick twitch beat like Chet Holmgren to these spots and like beat Josh Giddey to these spots as he rotates over. And it's totally fine. Again, like I don't mean to make this like shit on Alperen Şengün hour because it's certainly not. He's had an incredible season, but it just changes the flow of the offense and it changes the speed at which Houston is doing things. In addition to changing the spacing, which I think we'll talk about when we get to Jalen Green here in a second, but just all of it is so impressive to me.
Well, I love the idea of using him as a pick and roll man. Like you trust him in the short roll. You could throw him a lob. Like you say, here he catches and then quickly elevates to finish. But again, he squares him up. I just love how they flow into the next action. He knew exactly what was coming. That's great stuff from Fred VanVleet. Like I feel like we've tried to shout him out as much as we can whenever we talk about the Rockets. They just transitioned right into that action. And then again, I think him and pick and roll, it could be really interesting because of all the different tools he has as a processor and passer, but also a high level finisher with his athleticism.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Just a fantastic game from Amen Thompson in that one. I thought he was